Hello, everybody. It is another Wednesday night Field Gemology Talks. I'm Justin K. Prim. I'm going to be one of your hosts for this evening. And we have another adventure around the world. If you've been with us before, then you probably know that we have now been to all kinds of countries and all parts of the world. This is now our 18th week of doing this, it looks like. No, 13th, sorry. 13th week of doing this. 13th episode, 13th adventure. And we are going to have another great adventure today in Vietnam. We're going to be talking to Pham Van Long, and we're going to be talking about Vietnamese, all kinds of everything Vietnam, from stones to mining to minerals to culture and food and everything else. So thanks for being with us tonight after all these weeks. And if you have never been with us before, if this is your first night, then you can see on the screen so many videos awaiting you on YouTube. All of these, I think I think they're all up on YouTube now. We're usually getting them up about a week after they air. So yeah. Vincent, if you're ready, come on in and we can get this show going.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was a little bit in a rush, but I was nearly missing the hour. I was thinking it was our normal hour, but thanks, you gave me a ring, and then I got ready on time.
Yeah, this is 1 hour early because in Vietnam it's already 2 hours later. So for Long, he's going to fall asleep if we start at our normal
in Vietnam
time.
is the same, but Long, I think he's in Australia. He's in Sydney now.
Oh, that's why. That's
why. And there is 3 hours different.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering why it was so late. I was like, wow, Vietnam is not that far away.
No. Vietnam is the same as Bangkok.
So this is our 13th show. I feel like we're getting into some big numbers here. I think if you add up all the duration of all of these episodes, we have like weeks of talking behind us.
I think if you want to watch all of them, you have about, most of them are about 2 hours to 3 hours long. So, 13, it's basically, you see the number, it's nearly 30 hours of very interesting content.
Yeah.
Actually, you had some of them that were really great. Most of them were excellent, but some of them were really great. And I think it will be very valuable for people who want to know more about gemstone from this or that mining area, about what is going on there. Because the thing is, the way I select the people from this webinar is I'm selecting some friends from the field who are, for most of them, usually are not speaking too much. Several of them are not even on social media. So they are not communicating too much except with their friends or their colleagues. And a few of them are very kind of quiet. They are writing some articles from time to time, but I think it's quite interesting to get to be able to see them a little bit and to give them an opportunity to talk and to explain a little bit what is going on in their place, what they have done. And they provide me a lot of useful information every time I met them when I was visiting the country they are working. So yeah. I was thinking now we are all locked, more or less. We cannot move from our countries, more or less. Some people can move, but
it's kind of amazing
to keep in contact.
Yeah, just looking at this list of all these people that we've spoken to so far, and I think for many of them, especially when we're talking about YouTube, I think for many of the people we've spoken to, you can't find them on YouTube. There isn't another, especially something something very long and sort of personal like what we usually do. So I love the idea that in the future or even now, people have this almost like what's becoming like an encyclopedia of people that are, directly in the field and in all these different localities and directly involved with the gem trade in so many different ways. I just love the fact that...
And most of them have more than 20 years experience in their domain.
Yeah. So,
so it's very
it's going to be, it's great to be able to have such an opportunity to capture this. So I get, someone was speaking to me today about looking at the silver lining of COVID, and I think this is really one of them, being, having been able to do this series, and the fact that they're going to be up online is, as long as there is a YouTube, these will be available. So,
well, I saw the concept with, the first one where I was invited by AIGS and then by Regalo PIM. And actually, I liked the concept, and I was thinking, they were doing that in order to do something in order for people not to get bored with staying home with COVID-19. And I thought the concept was quite interesting. So I was thinking, and then we had this webinar together. Now, we were thinking, okay, why don't we, keep in contact with our regular friends from the field, and we give them an opportunity to speak. So the great thing, again, is the people that we're inviting are usually not the people who are everywhere. And that gives us an opportunity to discuss with them, and all this data will be available for the future. So I guess that people who will do research on this area will be able to watch this webinar. And I think the information they will be able to get from them will be very valuable.
Yeah.
So this is our contribution to the gem industry in order to keep doing something, even if we are a bit locked down and if all the activity are reduced. At least we have some time, and we can use this time in a kind of interesting way and a positive way for people who are studying gemology, or people who are, willing when this COVID crisis will get over, will want to maybe start in the gem industry. I think most of the advice and what our guest said will be very useful for them.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, shall we bring our guest in and go on to a new journey? We have not been to Vietnam in this series yet, so this is going to be a first.
Yeah. So Long is a very interesting person that I met through a good friend. So my first experience in Vietnam was kind of difficult, because the first time I went in Vietnam in 2005, at this time, I didn't have any good contact in the field. I was trying to find some local people, but I found rapidly that local people were not speaking English or French. So I had to deal with my limited Vietnamese. And it was very tough to understand the people and to get understood by the people. So for a while, I was searching a contact. And one day in 2008, I was discussing with Dr. Gaston Giuliani, who is a geologist, very senior geologist, one of the person who has the most experience about the geology of gem deposit. And we were collaborating on a project with spinners and with tsavorite when I was still at Googly. And he told me that he helped me already with the contact for Pakistan. He put me in contact with a very good geologist there. And then he told me that, he was in contact with somebody in Vietnam, and he provided me this contact. So I contacted that person, and that person was Pham Van Long, because Long did his PhD. He went to Nancy University in France, and he did some work there. And so he studied a lot the deposit regarding rubies and sapphire in Lu Kien and Yen Bai, and also in Chau. And he had a lot of experience, because before that he was working in government companies. So he had a lot of experience with this deposit. And Gaston told me that he will be happy to put me in contact with him. So I contacted Long, and we went on an expedition together all around Vietnam, from Yen Bai to Lu Kien, and then we went also to Chau, and then we went to the south. And he put me also in contact with one of his friends who was farming pearl on Hanoi Bay. So thanks to Long, I was able to get in contact with a lot of people, and we had a really great trip in the mountain that was super tough, and it was fun. It was fun. So, and also Long is a person who helped me all the time for my export. So he was all the time very useful. And every time I go to Vietnam, the first thing I do when I want to go to Vietnam, I contact Long. That's what I do now. Like most of the other people, when you find, that's the key secret when you want to go to the field, is you need to have a contact in the country that can help you when you need a backup, you have a problem, somebody who can put you in contact with one of his friends near the mine, tell you what is going on, if there is anything new. And this is what Long is nice to do every time I go to Vietnam. And sometimes when I have some friends who want to visit the place, I also put them in contact with Long, and Long was able to help them.
Cool. Well, shall we bring him in?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
We can get his side of the story. So Long, if you're ready, come on in and join us. Just hit start video.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, there you are. Welcome.
Long.
Okay.
How's it going tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing well. So you're not in Vietnam now. You're in Australia.
At the moment, I am in Sydney, Australia. I cannot return Vietnam.
Okay. Well, I guess.
You're blocked.
Yeah, you're blocked, just like, I guess, all of us.
Yeah, like us. I'm supposed to go to Greenland. I cannot go to Greenland. I'm blocked in Thailand, which is not the worst country to be blocked. It's not the worst country to be blocked. I'm quite happy to be blocked here.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I come here with my children from the January. After that, the COVID-19 come after, so everything is locked down. No international flight between Sydney and Vietnam, so I have to stay here. I don't know when I can come back to Vietnam.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. I'm surprised that they. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a strange times we're living in, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess to start it off, Long, can you give us a bit of a background about yourself and just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do in terms of gemstones and the gem trade?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I think this song introduced me quite detailed. I don't have anything to talk right now. But it's awesome. Okay, my name is Pham Van Long. I am a gemologist. I study geology at Hanoi University, and from 1992 to 1978 to 1992. After graduating from Hanoi University, I worked for Vietnam Mineral Corporation in about 5 years. And in 1995, when the Vietnamese government established the Vietnam National Gem and Gold Corporation, I moved to work for this corporation. It's called VIGEGO. And in this company, I working as a Center for Gem and Gold Corporation. It's a laboratory responsible for the gem testing and evaluating all the products that were deployed from this corporation before bringing to the market, before service to the customer. And during the time working for the VIGEGO, I have a lot of opportunity to visit ruby and sapphire mine in Vietnam. So that is helped me too much for my defense successfully my doctoral thesis, which started to study the mineralogical and gemological ruby and sapphire from Lục Yên and Chau. Of course, as Vincent says before, with the support from the Dr. Gaston Juniali from the Nancy from France. And he invited me to come there. I bring to sample to the laboratory and to the Nancy University to analyze and to collect my data for complete my doctoral thesis. And I work for the Vietnam National Gem and Gold Corporation in about 5 years. After that, in the year 2000, the Vietnamese government decided to merge between Vietnam National Gem and Gold Corporation with other mineral corporation to form the Vietnam Mineral Corporation. Is called VIGEGO. And from that, I continued working for Center for Gem and Gold Corporation. And in the year 2006, I established my sales company called VINAGEMS. This is a company to do business in all kinds of gemstone. I have a customer from the abroad to come to Vietnam to see and to buy gemstone from Vietnam. And I also to go to the other country to buy and to import the gemstone from there to supply for the demand from the domestic market. And after that, in 1990, in the year 2014, I established a laboratory in Gemstone. It's called Institute for Gem and Gold Research of VINAGEMS. This center, this institute is responsible for gem testing. I provide testing services for all kinds of gemstone and for all the customers in Vietnam. I also doing in education and researching of gem deposit in Vietnam. Yeah, that's all, I think.
That's a pretty good list of things. So I'm just curious, when you were doing your studies in Nantes, is that in French or in English?
Yeah, here in Nantes, I working by English.
Okay.
I can speak French, but not too much.
Okay.
Gaston can speak English. You know, Gaston can speak English with a good French translation. He can speak English. You will see soon, because I'm trying to motivate Gaston to be one of our guests in the future. So I'm hoping to welcome Gaston here in few weeks. We'll see.
So let's talk about gemstone deposits in Vietnam, because I know you know quite a lot.
Justin, you want to show the video first? You want us to show the video first? Yeah. If we start with the question.
Yeah, sorry.
So
okay.
Sorry about the video. Okay, yeah, so let's check out a video so we can see what we're going to talk about, which is...
Yeah. So the video I will show today, it's sadly, it's not a video with Long of the expedition we had together, because at this time, I was not traveling with a cameraman. When we had this great, about 20 days long expedition in 2009, I was not traveling with a cameraman, but we went on that expedition with Long. We went to visit a place that, I really enjoy a lot after that. It's a special place that is called, very famous actually, that is called Cung Troy, which is a spinel mining cliff near the village of An Phu. And with Long, we went to Cung Troy, but we went also on the other side of Cung Troy, where you have a place called Mai Thuong, which is a ruby mining place. Yeah. So to go to Mai Thuong was probably one of the most difficult expeditions that we had. I remember one of the two of the young guys traveling with us had a lot of problem and nearly died twice, because it was full of crevasses and dangerous jungle covered karst mountain with, sometimes you had to walk on a piece of wood that was not really done for people nearly 100 kilos. So it was very tough. For Vietnamese people, it looks very easy, but for me, it was not really easy at all. But so the video I will show now, it's a video that we did, one of the last video I did with GIA when I was working at GIA. And it's a video that is more specifically about spinels, but it will show a little bit the type of environment and the challenge about doing field work in this mountain. And this is what Long did for many months and many years. So I have a lot of respect and admiration for that. And then I was trying for many years to try to go also myself collecting this sample. So you will see a little bit the challenge about going to visit this place. The blue spinel you have in Vietnam have nearly no equivalent. The top quality blue spinel in Vietnam are really the top quality blue spinel in the world, in my opinion.
Coming visiting the market here is it's quite an experience for anybody.
I've choose this spinel to have a little of every colors.
A material like that is really incredibly rare on the surface of the Earth. This is one of the interests to come in the market, so we can gather information about what is ongoing, what is the production, and we can have an idea about all that. And in the next few days, we'll try to visit this mine. If you want to go to see the primary mine that is producing this sky blue spinel, there is no other way. You have to face the karst and go up in the mountain. There is a crevasse, about 4 or 5 meters, full of wood and sharp marble pinnacles. So you don't want to fall in there. For the past 10 minutes, we are climbing the Chau cliff. The Chau cliff is the main spinel mining area here. As a primary deposit, you have 2 teams of miners working on the top. Chau is a very special place because this is the place that produced most of the spinel crystal in matrix for the past 20 years.
It could be that the best is yet to come, but the distance is not very far, but I don't know how difficult it will be.
They'll drill and then they'll pack that drill hole with an explosive. Once it falls, they'll come down out to the blast site and they'll start picking up all the rubble.
It seems that you have 3 parallel veins, one with pink spinel, one with blue spinel, one with ruby.
I loved it. The mine was cool.
We just witnessed a team of miners we were spending the day with on the cliff, taking down a huge piece of marble that they collected from the top. Inside we can see there is some pargasite, there is also some spinel, and this piece will go probably to Wanfu, where they will probably sell it to a carver, and the carver will slowly take out the marble in order to reveal the spinel and the pargasite that are hidden inside. Here we are on the blue spinel vein. This is the most famous spot for blue spinel of the sky blue quality.
Blue color with color change features. That's beautiful.
I travel to gem mining area around the world and I collect samples. So we need to have a reference sample from this area in order to be able to identify the stones that were mined in the past, that are mined today, and that will be mined in the future. That expedition was fun because, number one, that was my first real field expedition with Wim. And also with Manny. Manny is a former US Marine with 30 years in the Marine. Wim was a young geologist at this time from Belgium, and now he is the one, managing the Field Gemology department at GIA. But there was also another geologist from France, Philippe Labro, and there was also two other gemologists from France. There was Philippe Labro, and there was also Lauriane Pinceau, who is now working at Gemfields.
Yeah.
So you had a good bunch of people on that expedition, plus a few friends. You have maybe seen there was also you had okay, forget about it. I mix up my stuff.
Audio is stop.
So
no, this place is very interesting, and the mountain there where you have the spinel, and then 200 meters away you had another layer with the rubies. The mountains there and the deposit are very, very interesting, and the quality of the stone is amazing. At least for the spinel, for the blue spinel, it's really nice.
Yeah, from Bison.
Yeah, well, the one from Bison, we were on that one where we went together. We also went to Bison. That was, oh my God, going there, I nearly died again. That was tough. I think the mountain in Vietnam, this is something that all the time fascinates me. These are the most dangerous mountain I know. I broke an arm there, and every time I go there in this cast, I think that I hope that nobody will die there falling in one of these crevasses, because it's super dangerous. This, it's slippery, it's covered with vegetation, it's tough. And sometimes, especially in May, June, when you have people who are busy there, it's super hot. It's super hot. So it's hot, it's wet.
You're right.
One time I had too much heat, I overheat, and I nearly collapsed and I fainted because of the heat. I had a heat stroke on this mountain because it was too hot. It's a tough, very tough place.
And I remember one day you can jump into the small hole in order to join with Pierre and.
It was too hot and we went swimming. At the end of the day, that was a photo I put today. It was so hot that we were just dreaming about one thing before to go back, because we still had about 1 hour and a half, 2 hours to walk back to the town. But we were so sweaty, and after spending 7 or 8 hours walking, and you had this former mining pit that was filled with water, and the water was fresh. We were just dreaming about one thing. We said, okay, anyway, we are all wet. Let's go in the water and have take a bath. And it was the best time of the day. and in Baltai, you know the valley of Baltai. It's a beautiful place. It's just a whole
ruby is a past.
Yeah. Justin, you have a photo of Baltai. The photo with the mountain like teeth.
Oh, yeah. I see. I think
covered with jungle.
Is it this one?
No,
Oh,
Cái Nghệ An, in Đồi Tỉ.
no, that's in Quito.
I don't think I have a picture. It's the only mountain I have.
Ah, okay. So maybe I forget to send you.
Okay, well, we'll save that one for later.
So, yeah.
I do have a map.
No. I think I just forgot to send you the photo, and let me.
Oh, okay. Super jungle. I think we want to speak a little bit about gemstone deposits in Vietnam, and I was gonna bring up this map, and have you tell us? Can you tell us a little bit about some of the different deposits that we find around Vietnam, and some of the different stones that we are, finding in there?
Hello.
Hey, you're back.
Okay. Please, sorry, come back.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
I don't know why.
It's okay.
I don't know why everyone else could hear you but me and Long.
I don't know. The important thing is you can see Long and you can listen to Long. Me is not that important.
Yeah. So we were just starting to talk about some of the, what are some of the gemstone deposits in Vietnam?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's very nice to be here to talk with you about gemstone deposits in Vietnam. And as you know, Vietnam is a country has a high potential of gemstone, especially ruby and sapphire. Other gemstones are so exploited, such as spinel, aquamarine, topaz, beryl, peridot, rock, a little bit of fluorite, opal, chalcedony, zardite, nephrite, and pearl. This is a map that I was established long time ago. I remember it in the year 2004 when I published a paper on Australian Gemology Journal. And in this map, I show all the location of gemstone along the country from north to south. Maybe I can talk a little bit about kind of gemstone in Vietnam.
Yeah.
First thing I want to talk about the ruby and sapphire. Zuzi, can you come back to the map? So I will.
Okay, sorry.
I think I can point out the location of gemstone. Yeah, it's good. In northern Vietnam, ruby and sapphire were found in the Lục Yên area and in Yên Bái area. Is distributed along the national road 70 from the Yên Bái to the Lục Yên, linked to the border between Vietnam and China. In the central of Vietnam, ruby and sapphire were found in Chau, belong to the Nghệ An province. There is ruby and sapphire, and many of sapphire occurrences were found in some provinces in Tây Nguyên area. In Vietnam, we call Tây Nguyên area. About 7 provinces, and from there we can find the ruby in the most important deposit is in Đắk Nông, Đắk Tôn, and Đắk Lông, and Hampton and Đá Bàn belong to Bình Thuận province. Another deposit we can find is Ngọc Yêu and belong to the Kon Tum province. We turn back to the northern part of Vietnam. I want to talk more about the ruby in Lục Yên. In Lục Yên, we found the primary ruby and secondary deposits and primary deposits.
Can you show the map of the geological map of Lục Yên and because
this thing. Yeah, it was. Here is a geological map of the Yên Bái province. It's the Inui Convoy Range. Yeah, this is a metamorphic dump, and this is along the red river shear zone, was distributed across the gemstone ruby mine. Here we can see from the is down forward is in by city, and in the north is above is the Lukian area, and along this way, national there is a black line is a national road 70. There are lots of ruby mine from Trấn Yên, Hòa Quang, Tân Hương, and to the Trúc Lâu, Yên Thái, and Trúc Lâu to the Trúc Lâu here is Khánh Hòa. And in this side of biomass, that rivers here zone is logam zone with Lục Yên area, and we can find lots of ruby mine from Lục Yên, from Minh Tiến, from An Phú, Phan Thanh, and down forward we can find the ruby in the Mông Sơn area. Mông Sơn is Iceland is a Thác Bà Lake at the moment. Yeah.
What is really fascinating in this area is that you have in the logam zone and in the dynamic convoy range, the geology is different. So you have the deposits that you have in the north. In the logam zone, you are all the time with the rubies in marble, but in the dynamic convoy range, the rubies are not in marble. And you have different type of ruby deposits that are just next to each other, with small ruby usually in the logam zone and with much bigger stone in the dynamic convoy range. This is, I don't know many places in the world with diversity like that on two different types of ruby deposits just next to each other.
And so what happens in the area where they meet? Is there some interesting thing, or there's nothing special? There
is a lake. They put a dam. There was a big dam that was done in the 1970, the Tagba Lake, and the whole area is flooded. And sometimes when they empty the lake, you have some islands that appear, and people are going to mine in the islands.
Oh.
That's fun.
Yeah, Vaisang, you are right. This is a little bit different between the two sides of the red river shear zone. On the left is the Zaygu convoy, and on the right is logam zone. And all the zones under the metamorphic condition as the ruby and sapphire deposits in this area also is the same phosphate condition is metamorphic. But in the logam zone, the ruby and sapphire and other gemstone were found with the marble, and widespread of the marble can make the gemstone is a higher quality. And but in the Zaydu convoy is no marble on the surface, but when you drill down under, you can find the marble on the basement. And so all of the phosphate condition of ruby and sapphire in this area is related to the marble and metamorphic condition.
Okay.
And another difference is along on the left right of the red river shear zone on the Zaydu convoy, we found a lot of star ruby from the Tân Hương to the Trúc Lâu, especially the Trúc Lâu area. The star ruby is very famous, and sometimes we can find the big drop ruby around. Oh, this one is from Ruby. I think this ruby, star ruby from Trúc Lâu is more red, and I think the color is more beautiful than the star ruby from Ruby. Through Trúc Lâu is better, and the effect of star is better. It's more clear, and we can see it's very fascinating.
And usually they are bigger. In a Trúc
Lâu, sometimes it's 2 kilo of 3 kilo drops. And in the past, but at the moment, sometimes the local people can find 200 to or 500 grams is very normal. High
And
quality.
sometimes they are coming with a spinel around. You have many times you have this big ruby surrounded by a spinel crust.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is very very interesting formation. That's ruby and spinel. I remember in the article of the Gaston Giuliani, he explains the formation of the ruby and spinel. Why the spinel creates a layer around the ruby's inside. So this is the transmission between the spinel and ruby when they are formed.
Justin, I think there is a photo about that. You have a photo of a ruby with surrounded by spinel, and next to that you have one of the big famous rubies that was also at the origin surrounded by spinel. I think I sent you a photograph with these two stones this afternoon.
Yes.
Can you show that
As a
photo?
star ruby also.
Yes.
The star ruby.
Oh yeah, okay, here it is. With the crust.
Yes.
This one.
Correct.
This one is very interesting. Ruby inside was surrounded by the spinel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
And this one is the star ruby of Vietnam also has thin layer of spinel. And this one after peel off the layers outside.
And you told me that this big ruby on the red stone on the center was 2.50 kilo, was also surrounded by a spinel when it was found, and then they removed the spinel in order to get out the ruby.
They remove the spinel cover outside, and this inside the core of the stone. This is star ruby of Vietnam.
Is that phenomenon of a ruby covered in a spinel crust? Is that a rare thing to find? Vincent, have you seen this in other places as well, or only in Vietnam?
You have sapphire surrounded by spinel sometime in Mogok. But ruby surrounded by spinel in Mogok is very rare. I have only seen, small ones. Sapphire surrounded by spinel is more common. But in Vietnam, this is something very, very common.
Yeah, very normal.
Except Mogok and Vietnam, I don't have seen that very much. But in Vietnam, this is something that you find regularly. Yeah, okay. Especially in the True Clot and Huang area. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. And so sometimes when the local people they find the same stone, they usually have to spread it, to cut, to make this outcrop the inside. And sometimes they bought the same stone is very cheap because the outside is not beautiful. But when they peel off the cover, inside is more beautiful. And they got a very high price. Some people became rich from that. And this became a job for scratch the covers outside.
Yeah, I found out about, actually I learned about that with, in Tanzania. In Tanzania, you had these big spinels that were found, and you had stories about that, about some of the pieces were gem quality. And when I went to Vietnam with you, I remember in 2009, we could not find any spinel crystal, big one, even low quality, that was intact, because everybody was using a machete and was chopping all the spinel crystals. Yeah. Because regularly inside, you had these big spinel crystals that sometimes can go 1 or 2 kilo, and inside you may have a 10 karat piece that is clean in spinel, which is the crystal outside look like nothing, and then you chop it, and maybe you find 5 or 6 pieces that you can actually cut.
Wow.
So I was very surprised to see that people chopping spinel crystal. In the beginning, I saw that only in Vietnam, and then people started to do the same in Burma, in Mogok. And actually, several people in Mogok find some good stone after chopping big crystals. So I was a little bit sad for the big crystal, but some people made a lot of money because some of these big spinel crystals were looking like nothing, and they were sold for maybe 10 or a few tens of dollars. But actually, some people were able to find some stones that were sold after that for a high price from this spinel crystal.
I'm surprised that a machete could cut a spinel.
No, they were like using the machete as a kind of hammer, chopping. Basically, they are clipping. We should not say crushing. They are clipping, but clipping, in a kind of... in Vietnam, they are tough. The miners, they are tough. And, when they go on chopping something, they go...
they just do it.
They go seriously. It's fun. I was, oh my God, when I saw that for the first time, I was so,
So what other types of stones are you seeing a lot in Vietnam? I know a lot of people have been talking about spinels from Vietnam in the last, several years. Is spinels the biggest thing right now, or is it still rubies and sapphires, or what?
Well, I think in Vietnam, it's all started with rubies.
Yeah.
It all started with rubies, but actually with rubies, they found many other stones. But the big thing is still ruby, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the moment, it's European. The main product is the spinel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are lots of spinel were found in the glacier and in all kinds of color, grass, lavender, purple, and brown, blue, and especially sky blue spinel from Bison is very famous. I think Vincent, you travel a lot. So do you think the blue, sky blue spinel from Bison is typical? Do you see any from another depots?
This is what I say in the video. The sky blue spinel from Bison are quite unique. You don't find too much of this. You have some light blue spinel also in Tanzania and in Madagascar, but they are more, they have a higher content in iron, so they are more grayish. But to have this pure sky blue like a Bison, you don't find in many places, only in Vietnam. Yeah. But in Vietnam also, you have the blue spinel also from, the other place near Bison where you have this electric blue spinel that we call sometimes Windex blue, because they are beating the Windex liquid color spinel. So they have this very strong blues that are coming from more, few places between Bison and in the south of Hanoi. And these one are very unique. You have some super nice blue spinel also coming from Sri Lanka, but at least these days they are very rare in Sri Lanka. And every time I was shown a blue spinel from Sri Lanka, so far, in my experience, they never matched the quality of the spinel, of the top quality spinels that I have seen in Vietnam. So for me, based on what I have seen, of course, maybe I can be proven wrong one day, but based on what I have seen so far, I think quality-wise, the top blue spinel from Vietnam are the best in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because I know some of my customers from abroad, they went to Vietnam to buy the spinel regularly, and they especially like the electric sky blue spinel from Bison. Yeah, with the high price. A few years ago, the price of this kind of spinel, I think it's not too expensive, but right now it's very high price. And only small piece about with 1,000 or 2,000 per class. I don't know why.
It's unique, and there is no treatment. You have something that is natural blue, bright. I think people these days, a lot of people like bright colors. bright colors is quite in fashion. And when you have a pure bright blue, you know, it's and people, I think also people like something that is special. So there is a niche market, I think, for everything that is beautiful, natural, special. And the fact that it's coming from a place like Vietnam, when you visit the mining area in Lu Quien, you know, around Lu Quien and An Phu, this is probably one of the most beautiful mining area I know on the planet. You know, the small village surrounded by bamboos and by paddy fields. And when you go around, you know, you travel around this place, the place is just beautiful. And there is also an interesting harmony between the people and the place. Most of the mining is done now by local people. So remember that, and this is something that is fascinating, that in Vietnam, most of the big companies, you had big company mining from the discovery in the end of the 80s to the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s. But then all these companies stopped mining because most of the area was, I think, finished for big companies. But you have local people who are still mining under the paddy field or in the mountain, and they still find a lot of stones. So this is fascinating to see that actually there is still some production of interesting stone, even after mechanized mining to be finished.
Yeah.
What happened? Why? You know, can you explain us a little bit the history of the mining? You know, in Lu Quien. You know how it. You know how the company came and then why they stopped. What happened exactly?
I think it's I think it brought it. I think this is a history story, and as you know, before in the past century, in the year from the year 1980 to 1990, in the past century, there are lots of companies to work in the field of mineral resources, and the Vietnamese government, they want to establish each company specialist in the kind of mineral resources. For example, the VIGEGO is a company only for responsible for the gem and gold deposits. And for example, the coal company, especially in mining the coal mine. And VIGEGO is another mineral company to mine other mineral resources from Vietnam. But after 4 or 7 years, all of this company is working. I think is there are another reasons that make them have to stop. Firstly, is from the government. They don't want to. To put more money for more company in order to control the mineral resources in Vietnam. And the secondly is some of the deposits gradually extracted after a short time of exploited. For example, gemstone deposit, ruby and sapphire deposits is also a good example for this. As you know, in the Lu Quien, it's very difficult for you can open the big mine in order to exploit ruby and sapphire, because in this area is a dense jungle, and the ruby and sapphires only distributed in the stream and in the alluvium, in colluvium, and far in the mountain is the pocket of the caster. So it's very difficult for big company can expand expand the exploitation there. Only the local people, they can climb to the mountain to bring some gravel to the down to the stream to west to find the gemstone is good. But for big company, I think cannot do that. And so after 5 years or 7 years, they have to stop, and they have to move to another gemstone as a mineral corporation. And now in Vietnam, from 5 mineral companies in the past, now in Vietnam only have only one mineral resources corporation. It's called Vietnam National Coal Group, and they control all of the mine in Vietnam.
But they are not interested too much in a gemstone like in Lu Kien, because these deposits are maybe too small for them.
Yeah, it's very, very, very small in Lu Kien, in Yên Bài, and in Quy Châu too, and in Tây Nguyên too. In Tây Nguyên, the sapphire Tây Nguyên is a part, is distributed in the basins,
Yes.
lava. Yeah, but now everything is shorted, and of course, the local people, when they cultivated the right field, they can find some sapphire, but nearly all of them is closed.
Justin, can you show the photo of the sapphire, blue sapphire from the south?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there is something, again, interesting in Vietnam is that, okay, in the north you have rubies and spinel in marble, and then you have these star rubies associated sometimes also with marble and fibble, slightly different. And then in the south of the country, you have an area where you had a lot of volcanic activity, and you have sapphires that are completely different. They are basalt related, very similar to what you have in Australia, to what you have in Thailand or in Cambodia. Actually, you find sapphires that are blue, yellow, and green, even if the blue one are the most common. Blue and green.
Yeah.
I don't see much yellow there, but you have some greenish, like we can see on the photograph, and a lot of blue and dark blue. And also sometimes you have zircon. You have yellow, orange, red zircon associated with these sapphires.
Yeah, this is sapphire from southern. The sapphire from Tây Nguyên province usually is dark blue color. Sometimes it's very dark, and we cannot see through the stone. And this one is good quality already, so we can saw. And another color we can see is green and blue and yellow color, and it's mixed together is one stone. And I think in southern of Vietnam, about 3 or 5% can be gem quality, and all of them is translucent or opaque, cannot make the jewelry. Yeah, like that. It's small size.
Yeah.
And especially for the sapphire from southern, there are lots of trapeze effect. It's very interesting. Yeah.
But there is no more mining in the south now. The mining is nearly finished also.
I think all of the mine is finished. But last year or 2 years ago, this new mine was discovered in the next to the Biển Hồ, and they asked many in the yellow sapphire and blue mixed color, blue, green, and yellow sapphire. It's very good quality. Sometimes they found the high quality with the high, very big, about 50 or 70 crores.
But remember last time we went, we saw that most of the mining area where you could find sapphire, actually there was no more jungle there. It was all covered with coffee plantation. There was coffee everywhere, and nobody was mining any more sapphire because the whole area was covered by coffee plantations.
Yeah, because it's a long time ago. And now it's the penguin that is already concentrated into another kind of stone, the peridot, the topaz, and chalcedony, and the agate is also good. You know, at the moment in Vietnam, there is like putting some gemstone at home for decoration. And so they find a lot of chalcedony. It's a very big size, around 10 ton or 20 ton each piece. And after polishing the outside, they become very interesting. And Vietnamese people, they put this stone at the garden as a home for the feng shui. And now it's a thousand, especially for this kind of stone. No one pays attention to the sapphire anymore.
Yeah, this is something that is that I all the time found very fascinating in Vietnam, is that there is actually a very strong market for gemstone in Vietnam, but not exactly the way we are thinking. Vietnamese, they like gemstone in matrix. They like to have a big piece of marble that they will carve, where you can see white marble with some red color with rubies, or with a spinel, or with also, sometimes even pargasite. And they will make carving with that to decorate their apartment. And then they do also all these gem paintings. Can you explain us a little bit where it's coming from? Why Vietnamese are so much in love with gem carving and also gem paintings?
Yes, I think it's the culture of Vietnam, and it's culture it's a hobby of Vietnamese people. And for that stone painting, I think as you know, you come to Vietnam already from long time ago. You was a tour guide is a part, right? And so you have to understand about the country in Vietnam. Vietnamese people, they like to hang the picture as in the house. And with the purpose, of course, for the beauty of the house and for the feng shui purpose. And every people thinks that when they hang a picture as the bright plate in the house owner can get rid of evil and can welcome the better, the good thing to come to the house. So before the gemstone painting, you know, the Vietnamese people, they can use another kind of the painting in order to decorate the house. For example, the lacquer, the painting, the canvas painting, the silk painting, something like that. But after discovery of the gemstone and the gem painting was made from the gemstone, the Vietnamese people, they want to decorate the house with the gemstone painting, because this painting has both purpose. The first is the painting, and secondly is made from the gemstone. And gemstone is very good for everyone. And so I think it's the double good, I think it's better. And so it's more and more popular for Vietnamese people to decorate the home with the gemstone painting. And the gemstone painting also becomes a gift for one to give another people. For example, you can bring a gemstone painting to your friend when he open the new house or new restaurant or something like that. You can give gemstone painting for your boss. You can give gemstone painting for your parents, on the occasion of your birthday or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, on the pictures.
On this photograph, this is something that photograph that you share with us this afternoon. On the left, this is not gemstone painting. This is a statue. This is a tree, and all the leaves, all the flowers are made with gemstone. I never saw that before. This is just beautiful. This is super beautiful.
This is recently they made the tree from sandstone. I want to show. Before that, this gemstone from the left, you can see is very popular. But recently, the Vietnamese people, they can make the tree like that, or the 3D gemstone. And this one is the peat tree. In Vietnam, it's very lucky tree. And for the beginning of the lunar year. And the peat flowers only bloom at the beginning of spring and the beginning of the lunar year. And this tree was made from the flower made from the ruby, small ruby, sealed together. And the trunk of the tree was made from other kind of sandstone, Chalcedony or something like that. And this one I remember is weighs about 2 tons, and it's with a height of more than 2 meters. And they sold for about more than $100,000 last year.
Wow. So
yeah,
what's
even the trunk is made. It's Chalcedony. It's not wood.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going
to yes, it's made from the concrete inside, but outside they seal with a stick by the fragment of the Chalcedony, opal or Chalcedony.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
But the ruby here is the flower of the piece is a small piece of ruby. In some place, they can stick carbon ruby inside.
Mm.
So
people
expensive.
do that for like feng shui or geomancy, because when they build a house, depending of when the people were born, on which date they were married, you have people who say, oh, you need to have something red here in the house at this place in order for the family to be lucky, to have healthy children, and to be to be lucky. So depending of when the people were born and things like that, it's about this color, this color, and this color. So this is something that is very, very deep, I think, in a Vietnamese culture. Correct? The feng shui, geomancy kind of thing.
Yes, you're right. This is a feng shui. This is feng shui theory. It's start from a long time ago. I think maybe it's short from the China. And now in Vietnam, when you do everything, you can have to. In Vietnam, there are some people who do is the feng shui, and we call the feng shui master. They understand everything about the feng shui, and so when the feng shui is depend on the birthday, depend on the time of the birth, and based on the birthday is you have to use another kind of color. For example, if you how old are you, Vincent?
51.
Oh, so you belong to the earth, because based on the feng shui theory, there are 5 elements that control our universe. Metal is kim, is a metal. Mộc is wood. Thủy is water. Hỏa is a fire, and Thổ is earth. Those 5 elements can control our universe, And our body is the same, is a small universe. And so in order to make the universe keep the balance, and 5 elements have to balance. And in your body, if some element is locked in some element, or one is higher another element, as you can get your well is not good, you can get the diseases or something like that. And the same is the how, and the same is the country, and the same is the continental, and the same is our universe functioning.
Interesting. So this is like
Yeah.
This is like a cultural phenomenon, not specific to Vietnam, but definitely at home in Vietnam, and it's influencing the way that people are using gemstones, whether that be gemstone paintings or these kind of sculptures, or maybe even just having certain stones based on your feng shui needs.
You have about the same in China, but in Vietnam, the local industry in gemstone industry from Lu Quyen benefit from that. And then you have, now most people in Lu Quyen, they are not mining to produce faceted stone. The production of every day is used, to make gemstone carving. And with all the stones that are too small to be faceted or low quality or thin, they crush that, they turn that into powder, and they turn that into gemstone painting. So this is what is great in Vietnam, is that anything that is produced from the mountain in Yen Thé can find a market. So that's why local people go mining, because everything they get can be used and find a market, which is not, a lot. But from time to time, because of that, you have some stones that are produced that can be used for faceting. So actually, all the gemstones that we think, the normal gemstone we think about, they are a byproduct of mining for gem painting. And when I saw that in Vietnam, that was really something that struck me, because when I see many mining areas in a place like an African country, it's very difficult for them because most of the production doesn't have any market. And so miners have a lot of difficulty, to make a living. But I saw that in Yen Thé, and also in Mogok in Burma, with the gem painting, you can have a market. When gem painting is done on site, around the mining area, there is a market directly, from the miner to the gem painter. So all the production can find a market, and the miners will get $2 or $3 per day. But $2 or $3 per day is what they need to keep mining. So then, maybe once a month or once every 2 months or 3 months, they will find a stone that will be good enough to be sent to a cutter. And regularly, you have, these stones are produced. So the gem industry in Yen Thé, from what I see every time I go there, this is for me one of the most responsible, one of the most sustainable, and one of the most efficient gem mining industries that I have met. And, they built that in 30 years. 30 years ago, before, Long bring me to that place where you can see the monumental stone where they say that here the first ruby were found in 1986. So before 1986, there was no gemstone in Vietnam. And from 1986 to now, so basically in 30 years, they built an industry that was able to grow on the cultural background, and that is exporting gemstone and also gem painting all around the world.
So cool.
So this is very, very successful Lu Quyen and Yen Thé. What I see, Yen Thé, An Phu, it's this place could be said, to be some model and some example for many gemstone producing area around the world. That's why we did this last time we went. We did this video that is 20 minutes that I will not show here, but about the gem painting.
Yeah. For example, the discovery of gemstone in Vietnam is about 30 years. But in the past, I think the Vietnamese people, they found the ruby and sapphire, but they don't know the value of them. And they call it is đá đỏ. This means red stone, and ruby is a red stone. It is said that a long time ago, around in Bai province, this location we call is Chau Ngọc. Chau Ngọc is means gemstone market, and it is said that surrounding this area, the locals people find a lot of ruby. Now we call it ruby, but in the past they call this data, and they don't know how is this and how is the value of this stone. They only bring this stone to home to display as a glass case at home, and for their children to play with them, and they don't know the value. After that is the 1987 or 1988, when the Thai people come to Vietnam, and they bought this stone with a very high price. So at that time, the Vietnamese people now, this one is very high price, it's very expensive. And so after that, there are lots of people brought to the Lục Yên, to the Quy Châu, to the southern, and after that, from the year 1985 to 1993 or 1993, many deposits of ruby and sapphire was recovered along Vietnam, and so it's become more popular.
Wow, it's kind of amazing.
So then we have to thank from Thai people.
From the Thai people. And this is the same for the gem painting. The gem painting were also introduced by, it's coming from Thailand. In the movie, we see that one of the first person who did the gem painting in Vietnam, he was wondering why the Thai people were buying all these stones, all the small ones that he didn't understand. And then he went to Bangkok, and then he saw that they were doing some painting. So he came back and he started in Vietnam.
Yeah, correct. I think the gemstone painting is originated from the Thai, but the difference between the two countries is the Thai gemstone painting. They make them in the flat, but in Vietnam they use a small piece of gemstone to stick together on the plate, and it's different.
Yeah, the technique in Vietnam is different because I think most of the people that I met in Vietnam told us that they learn by themselves. So they get the idea from the Thai, but they had to find their own technique. So actually, everything changed. And the Vietnamese are very ingenious. So they can, when they get an idea, then they work hard and they will copy, but they will make the thing their way. And some of them succeed doing some very, very good job.
Yes, you're right.
The quality improved a lot. Now the quality of some of the gem painting I see in Vietnam is just incredible. The quality of the work by some of these companies who now have nearly 30 years experience, they become very, very excellent at what they are doing.
Yeah. I like the idea as well that you might, the gem paintings are given as gifts, and even like to your boss. Like just imagine, Vincent, and your 10-year anniversary at whatever lab, and instead of getting like the little plaque or the pin that they give you, it's like a gemstone painting.
Justin, it happened already. There were a bunch of young people who, I took them, I helped them in their career. And then I took them to Vietnam, and some of my friends, and you know, they were staying there, and I advised them, you know, I was mentoring them. And then I was supposed to join them, you know, about a few weeks later. So they put some money together, and they went to see one of the family doing gem painting. And they gave them my classic photograph where I am standing just near the spinel mine in Kulilal in Tajikistan. And they gave that photograph to one of the gem painting family. And for 1 month, they built this 1 meter by 60 centimeter gem painting. And when I went to Yente with them, they took me there, and they, you know, they gave me that gem painting as a present.
Wow.
So I was very touched. So it was, and actually it was not finished at this time. It was supposed to be finished, but they, you know, I found out that in Vietnam, actually the families are doing a little bit differently. There were one family that is doing just the face of the people. So all the gem painting was done except my face, because they had to give the gem painting to the next family in order to do the final part. And it took 1 more month. So the gem painting was sent to a hotel, my regular hotel in Hanoi, and I had no idea they lost. I found the gem painting 1 year later. It was waiting in my hotel. It took me 1 year to get it. But my hotel in Hanoi, a small family type hotel, very nice people, they kept it for 1 year. And when I came back, say, "Oh, we have something for you. You had your friends." Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And I still have the painting, and it's a beautiful one. Love it.
No, that's so cool. Well, so we talked about rubies, we talked about spinel, but of course, Vietnam has other gemstones. So what are some of the other popular stones that are coming out of, you know, the different localities of Vietnam?
Yes, another gemstone we found in Vietnam, for example, was so very famous. For example, aquamarine. Aquamarine is we found in the central of Vietnam, is Thanh Hóa province. Yeah, this is a crystal of aquamarine. And this was found is, I think it's in the year 1985 by a few gemologists. And aquamarine was deployed in the pegmatite pockets, and next to the is Thanh Hóa, is next to the Laos border. They are usually in the high quality with sea blue color, and the crystal size is from the 2 centimeter and sometimes to 20 centimeter. This diameter is about 1 centimeter. Sometimes it can reach 3 centimeter, and it's well terminated, and it's a very good crystal.
Yeah. I know.
And
I'm sorry. I was going to say last year we had the opportunity to cut a few pieces of aqua from Vietnam, maybe pieces a little bit bigger than this, and it was really fun. Some of them come out so big. As a cutter, it's just fun to work on a really big piece, because, you know, normally we're working on such tiny things, and to cut a stone this big it's very satisfying, especially with the color, such a good color.
Yeah, very good color. It's not the same with another kind of aquamarine from Afghanistan or from Pakistan, for example. The color is very pale, but the aquamarine from Vietnam, the color is very vivid color. And so the trader from everywhere in the world, they like aquamarine from Vietnam.
Okay. And so what other types of stones? I know you mentioned when we saw the map earlier, you were speaking about peridot. Is that a popular stone in Vietnam as well?
Yeah, you are right. Peridot is also very popular. The peridot was found in the accessory of the zircon, and we found together with the sapphire in the southern of Vietnam is basalt. And peridot found in Ham Rong belong to the Bình Thuận area and the Kon Tum province. Now this one is not peridot. This one is octoclast. And the peridot is usually is olive green to genuine green. The size of the stone is from the 20, from 5 to 20, or sometimes 50 carats per piece. They're usually transparent and to translucent, and can be cut in the high quality gems facet. Is also very good.
Okay.
And another kind of stone we can find in Vietnam, for example, we can find is tectile, also very famous. And some people, they come to Vietnam to hunt for tectile. Tectile in Vietnam, we can find along the country from north to south, and to some island, for example, in Phu Quoc or Con Đảo or another place in Vietnam. The tectile is black color, opaque, and the size of the piece sometimes reach to the 200 to 300 gram, and it's very beautiful. And recently, some kind of gemstone they can find in Vietnam, for example, is I want to talk about already above is the Chalcedony and agate. They wide distributed along the some province in Tây Nguyên province, and this is a high quality compared to the ruby and sapphire is high quality, but the Chalcedony as opal and agate is a very rich stone, and sometimes they can sell with the price of 100 or 200,000 US dollar per piece, about 10 ton or 20 ton. They use this one in order to decorate as a garden, as a home, and for the gift to the boss or another people on the special occasion, for example. And some kind of stone we can find in Vietnam recently is zodiac and nephrite. This one is not truly zodiac. It's the geologists analyze found that is a dioxide and it belongs to zodiac group. And it's only for carving. It's not so stable for making jewelry because the color is not a bright green color, it's pale green color. And the translucent, the clarity usually is translucent and opaque, it's not clean. And small size of stone we can find, for example, the fluorite. And so in the province is the north, and another place in the central of Vietnam in Khánh Hòa province, but it's not too much.
You have also some tourmaline, interesting tourmaline near Minh Chien.
Yeah, tourmaline is very popular in Lục Yên and in Minh Chien province. In the Lục Yên area, we can find a lot of tourmaline, especially in Bali and Dravai, with green color, blue and green and yellow color, or sweet color, strawberry color. And another kind of tourmaline we found in Khai Trung is rubellite. Rubellite from the Lục Yên area is not the same with rubellite in another country, Madagascar, so something like that. Is pink, more pink, yes. More pink color, and it paint is not dark pink. And they are only for collection sample is good, but for jewelry, I think it's not good.
Yeah,
not
but as a mineral specimen, sometimes you have some But they are all from
Yeah.
one spot, from only one spot in Mingtian. Kind of
Yeah.
one mountain, one spot.
Is this, I didn't know which.
No,
This is octoglyph feldspar. Octoglyph
Okay.
feldspar is, this one is, they was exploited a long time ago. This one's pockets.
coming from the same place. It's coming very near
Okay.
from the same place as tourmaline, from what I remember.
Yeah.
It's just next to the place where you have the tourmaline, same area. And it's a kind of a green autoclave that is very, I don't have seen that in any other place than Vietnam.
It looks I mean, I didn't know what it was. It looks kind of like tourmaline, especially this one where you can kind of see a secondary color. It almost looks like a little bit of blue and a little bit of green. Maybe it's just the lighting,
No,
but
there was usually in Vietnam they try some dealers were first selling that as Amazonite, but then they were studied, I think, at GIA, and I think Brendan Last made an article about that and found out that it was actually green autoclave. But sometimes in Vietnam it was sold as Vietnamese emerald, but actually it's not emerald. This is feldspar. This is much softer.
Yeah.
It can be beautiful when it's cut. It can be beautiful, and it can be quite big, 2 carats. But it's a feldspar.
And so,
but it's a very, from yes.
And this is the same.
The stone.
Yeah, the color is awesome.
This is also, yeah. I remember I took this photo. It was in 2009. I was very surprised about that, and I could not buy the stone because the seller wanted several $1,000s per carat for the stone. He was trying to sell me that as a emerald price, but I was all the time curious about that, and I tried to find out where it was coming from, and I found out that it was coming from just next to the place where you have the tourmaline in Mingtian. But the mine is finished. Recently, I returned there. I found some people in Mingtian mining in the karst, mining mainly for spinel, rubies, and sometimes you have the tourmaline. The funny thing is, in that place, in the paddy field near the place where you have the tourmaline and the green autoclave, you have a lot of trapiche rubies. A big percentage of the rubies you have in a Mingtian are trapiche, which is, again, not something that you find everywhere on the planet. So
interesting.
The area in Yente, it's kind of fascinating because you have a lot of trapiche rubies, trapiche sapphire. You have this tourmaline, this green autoclave that you have nowhere else. You have this blue spinel that are just unbelievable in light color to deep blue color, sometimes dark color. So you have a huge variety of gemstone, and most of them are actually kind of unique.
Well, and I know another unique thing that Long wanted to speak about was the biggest ruby that was ever found. So maybe this is the perfect moment to speak about this because it's pretty unique, right?
Yeah.
So you sent me a photo. I will pop it up and tell us a little bit about this giant ruby.
This is a star ruby, but I want to talk about the star of Vietnam first.
Okay.
You can show me the photo.
From Vietnam, 12 kilo.
Okay.
This is coming from the west, from the Danui Convoy Range.
The star Vietnam ruby is weighs about 2.58 kilo, and as I said about that, this one at the first time it was covered by the spinel layers outside. This ruby was found in the year 1997 by VIGEGO, Vietnam National Gem and Gold Corporation in Tân Hương Mine. And after chopping in 1998, after trying to chop the outside surrounding area, a small piece of ruby was break out, and the Vietnamese they bring it to the Myanmar and to sell is a gemstone exhibition there. And after that, they sold for $1,000 per carat with the small piece 300 carat. 300 carat.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that some of the...
Now, this is official record, but for its official record, the locals, farmer as the local resident, they find sometimes the piece more bigger. And it is said that in its year 1990, it's year 1997 and 1998, they found a very big ruby, around 7 kilo, and very high quality. And at that time, they bring it to to America to sell. I think this is in official, but it's a private. It's not for the government.
Mm.
And another stone is Justin Russell is this star ruby. It now belongs to the private collection of a person in Vietnam. This one is 19 kilo and it's star. But this one is a good star effect, and I think it's priceless at the moment.
A 19 kilo star.
Yeah, 19 kilo.
You got to have a big room and a big light to show off that big star, I think.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, when you think about, okay, there are some very big star rubies in Vietnam, but when you think about the smaller one, actually, when you think about the quality, probably the best star ruby I have ever seen are coming from Vietnam. If you are thinking about, because, for example, the other place where you have a lot of star rubies is the Mogok in Burma, in Myanmar. But in Mogok, it's very difficult to have a star ruby that will have the 6th branch regular, you know, and going up to the side of the stone. In Vietnam, the rubies, very often the star is very, very good. It's nearly as good or even as good very often as what you can expect in a synthetic stone. The stars are usually perfect. Sometimes when you play with your star ruby, you go it upside down and you have a star on both sides of the stone. The branch is really going to the side of the stone and usually sharp and bright. In some case, you have also the star. Here you see the star is white and the stone is not very transparent. But I have seen some stone that are very good clarity, very transparent, very red, and with a very good star. It's very complicated. It's very difficult for a ruby to have a good red color, a good transparency, and a good star, because the star is coming from rutile needles. And when you have rutile needle, the transparency is getting lower because the needle will block the transparency. So to have the perfect star, in theory, you need to have a red stone that is transparent and a good star. But star and transparency are a bit in conflict. Nevertheless, the best star ruby I have seen, my experience, maybe some other people will not agree, but the best star ruby I have seen are from Vietnam. And probably the best I have seen, maybe Long, you will agree with me, they were coming actually from Chau.
Yeah.
Very good very good red stone, red star ruby coming from Chau.
Yeah, but in the past, as the woman is no more. Yes. I remember when I worked for the VIGEGO, and sometimes they found very clear. I think it's transparent. With high transparent is well effective star ruby. It's only small size, Maximum is 4 carats, and the bigger size, I think, is no.
I think I saw in 2006 at the Bangkok show, there was VIGEGO, I think, had a booth, and they were displaying a stone that was about 20 carat star ruby. That was very beautiful.
Yeah, from Chau.
Yes, I think
from Lubir. Yeah, from Tân Hương.
Ah.
I think the star ruby from Tân Hương is very good, as Pham Sang has said before. Sometimes as a woman, along the National Road 70, the local people sometimes can find the big star ruby with a few kilo. It's very popular. And in order to check the quality of star, they polish a small surface of the stone, and after that they put a drop of water in the polished surface, and the effective star will clear. And depending on the effective star, the price is different. And if the effective star is good, the price is high, but the no star effect or star effect is not good. I think they can cut cobblestone or something like that. The price not high. It's a good way for them to check the star effect of the rough stone when you buy a rough stone.
So
yeah.
if we, sorry, I was gonna say something totally different. If we look around Vietnam now, as far as mining gemstones goes, are we going to see big companies doing the mining, or is it mostly small companies doing mining in Vietnam now?
At the moment, no company can mine mining gemstone. All of the mining is belong to the local people, belong to the farmer, belong to the local resident, and they can find the gemstone is the outcrop is during the process of farming or something like that. There are some mineral resources company, but they don't mine the gemstone right now in Vietnam.
Yeah, it's every time I go there, you see the biggest company is maybe about 7 or 8 people. It's a kind of family type business. Sometimes they have a little bit mechanized. They have a jig. They have some old mining equipment from Thailand. But most of the time, they are just mining with, they are collecting the ground between the karst, and then they are washing that, in a kind of a wood area with, they get water from the mountain and they are washing the mud and they are collecting the ruby. So they are working with very hand tools and very low-tech method. But this is providing an additional income for the local people when they are not busy with the farming. So if you want to see gem mining in Vietnam, you go, for example, to Yen Thé, and you have to go when people are not busy with the paddy. So when people are busy with the farming, there is very few mining. But as soon as the farming stop, then you have a lot of labor that is available, and people, instead of doing nothing, they go to they move from farming to mining. So it's and you may have 300 or 400, maybe 500, and sometimes even 1,000 people. If there is a new gem deposit that is found in one place, you may have 1,000 farmers moving there, and also the people from the town in order to try their luck.
Yeah. Because in Vietnam now, the mining of gemstone is illegal, and every people have to do the agriculture. And after farming, after rice, agriculture, they can they harvest the rice field. After that, they can find the gemstone is alluvium or collovium or something like that. And after the agriculture stop, they have time to climb to the mountain to find the gemstone in the highest mountain. For example, the ruby and sapphire in the Lục Aquamarine and Thanh Hóa, some other kind of stone in another place around the country. But in Vietnamese law, the mining of gemstone is illegal.
But that is something that is interesting in Vietnam, because in theory mining is illegal, but that's globally. But you know, when I was talking in Vietnam, I was very often told that, you know, in Vietnam, it's not a kind of super centralized thing. Sometimes, you know, the law of the state stop at the door of the village. So it depends of, you know, the authority in the village. If the local authority in that district feels that this is okay, you know, they can manage, because in Vietnam you have, you know, this is the way, for example, Vietnam get free from the French. You had, you know, Ho Chi Minh organize the whole Viet Minh in a way that was not super centralized. You know, you had the different group had some autonomy. They were all moving in the same direction. So as long as they were moving in the same direction, depending on the method they were doing, they had quite a lot of autonomy. And very often in Vietnam, you have the chief of the village that is working with the communist of the village. And as long as these two guys are happy, you know, and I agree, so things are going. So sometimes you go to one village, people do like that. Sometimes you go to the next village, people do slightly different. This is something in Vietnam which is kind of interesting, because the local communities in Vietnam are very strong and they have their word to say, usually. So, for example, you go to Yen Thé, people are mining, local people. They don't accept foreigners to mine. They don't accept people from outside to mine. But the local people from the village can mine. But if you go, for example, to Chau, no. The local government don't allow people to mine. So, two different places, two different things. And if you go to the south, the farmers are making coffee plantation. And they don't want people to dig under the coffee. So there is no mining in the south under the coffee plantation. Remember the same as when we were in Cambodia, you had the zircon in Ratanakiri and you had all this rubber plantation. When you have rubber plantation, people are not mining zircon because the farmer don't like people to dig between the trees.
Yeah.
So you have competition in Vietnam, like in Cambodia. Mining is in competition actually with coffee or with rubber. So there is very few mining. But in Yen Thé, because the farmers are mining paddy, they are farming paddy, you know, they do their paddy and then they stop doing the paddy so they can, you know, dig under their paddy field, and sometimes they find some gemstone.
So cool.
Interesting. This is, Vietnam is very surprising in many ways.
And
Yeah,
so
the country of Vietnam. You know, Vietnam is a very long country, so it's different from the north to the south and the central, and from province to province, and from village to village. It's different.
And Long, what about cutting? Is there many people doing cutting in Vietnam? I know I've seen a little bit, but I didn't know if it was very popular or just a small industry.
All right, can you speak more, please?
Like the gemstone cutting. Is there many people in Vietnam doing gemstone cutting, like faceting and?
Yeah. In Vietnam, they cut for themselves. For example, is Lục Yên, when they found the gemstone, and there are lots of people can cut and polish gemstone in the town. I think it's about 5 to 10 family can cut stone.
Okay.
And in Hanoi, for example, also there are some people can cut and polish stone. And if you buy the raw stones, you can bring to them to ask for the cutting, and they can help you how to evaluate the finished stone and how to keep the weight is in the maximum size, and how to keep the money in maximum. And this also is experienced people. They can help you to evaluate the finished stone from the rough stone.
Okay, but
Yeah.
pretty small industry then. Just if it's just 5 or 10 families.
No, in Yente, you have they are doing they are doing not just gemstone painting, they are doing the carving, they are doing also the cutting. You have people who are, you know, they have a shop, but they have also a cutting thing at home. And you have even people in Yente doing heat treatment.
Yeah.
I have seen heat treatment of sapphire, heat treatment of ruby in Yente.
Okay.
So they have learned, people in Yente, they are taking gemstone business very seriously. You know, they don't speak English, they don't speak French, but I can tell you, they work hard and they experiment a lot. And actually, after 30 years, I'm very impressed with the result. They learn quick, tell you.
Yeah. I think they learn from the Thai people. And some Thai people come to Slovenia and they can, as we said before, Vietnamese people, they can imitate, they can copy very quickly. And so they can copy everything and make it in higher level. And for the cutting, for the evaluating gemstone, for the hitting gemstone, they also copy from Thai people. Yeah, even though they cannot speak English, but they can see you and they can do for themselves from very simple. They put the stone inside the furnace, the cold furnace. After that, they bloom the flour into them to heat the gemstone. And recently, some people can invest money in order to buy the electric furnace and to heat ruby and sapphire. But I think at the moment it's no more. Yeah.
And so, you know,
the production is low now. But
yeah. So where do you see the future going for Vietnam? You know, obviously after COVID and when things are starting to get back to whatever they were before or wherever they're going to be, where do you see the industry going from here?
I think in the future, the gemstone trading is industry is also become the potential for people, because you know recently in Vietnam the economy is grow very fast, so the income of the people rises gradually. A lot of people become rich, and another factor can control the gemstone industry of Vietnam is the control of Vietnamese people. They want to wear gemstone, they want to use gemstone for decorating at home, and they want to use gemstone for a gift and for another people. And this also, and you know, another reason is in recent year in Vietnam. Vietnam is a Buddhist country, and so in some temple, Buddhist temple, they want to make the Buddha's statue from the gemstone, and this also very good opportunity for the gemstone company when they can bring another kind of gemstone from everywhere the world in order to carve, to polish, to make the Buddha to put in the temple. And that factor, I think, is role play play a role important in order to drive the Vietnamese gemstone industry develop in the future.
Cool.
So you think that Vietnam is moving from a gem-producing country to a gemstone consuming country? It will be more like
I think so. At the moment, Vietnam becomes a consuming country because the gemstone from the domestic country is nearly exhausted. You know, ruby and sapphire from the Vietnam is no more. From Chau is no more. From the Tây Nguyên province is no more. So first of all, in my company, I have to go to another country in order to buy gemstone, to import gemstone to Vietnamese markets. For example, I have to travel to Canada for buying Nephrite, travel Burma for buying Nephrite, Sapphire, something like that. Travel to Brazil for buying quartz, and all of them is for the purpose of decorating in the Vietnamese domestic market.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know I have a few friends who go to Vietnam regularly, and they, as gem traders and buyers, and they've told me sometimes it's hard to buy stones in Vietnam because the Vietnamese people like to buy their own stones as well. So I guess that's a good sign that Vietnam is, consuming their own stones as well, and that they can, maybe they appreciate holding them inside of their own country, which is pretty cool to be able to do.
Yeah, you're right. Vietnamese people, especially the rich people, they want to buy the big ruby or big gemstone or the very high price gemstone, and to keep as how for the treasury for the later generation.
Yeah.
And this also inside when you put the gemstone in house, it makes your house becomes wealthy, and it can welcome the good thing, the lucky, and everything is good for them. So they want to buy the big ruby to keep at home, especially in his house.
Mm.
Yeah, this is something that people in the West don't think too much. But in Vietnam, people don't see just gemstone, as an ornament for people, as a jewelry. But they're also thinking about that for decoration in their house and also in their garden. So there is a market for gemstone in Vietnam that is potentially very strong. And this is the same in China. In China, they have also this stone garden, and they are very much interested in carving. I think they are some of the best carvers in the world. And I was impressed to see sometimes, Chinese people or Vietnamese people, if you find a river pebble, just a stone, a round stone that you find in a stream, because of the shape, because of the color, because of the design, a river pebble can sell for several $1,000s.
Wow.
I was very surprised to see the deep interest that people in places like Vietnam or China have for gemstones that are not the transparent stones that you facet and you put in jewelry in Europe. But they like this stone, but they have also a much wider appreciation about minerals that I have not seen, for example, in the West.
Oh, it's so cool.
And I think people in Vietnam also, they are a bit like China or like in Burma. They like to think that they want to give something for the next generation. They want to pass something, something that will stay. So for them, if they buy a ruby or if they buy something, if you have a good ruby, a bit like the Burmese, if you're a wealthy person, you will buy a ruby so you can pass it to the next generation, like the Chinese do with jade or the Burmese do with ruby. But they see jewelry as something that what will remain about you in 2 or 3 generations. People will even forget your name. But if you are the one who bring this ruby into the family, you will be able to pass that to your son, grandson, great-grandson, and maybe, you will be able to do something good to help, somebody, one of your descendants, to deal with an issue. Because in Vietnam, they have so many earthquakes, they have typhoons, they have that. So I think Vietnamese people think a lot that maybe sometimes their house will be destroyed by an earthquake or by a typhoon. So sometimes you have to run away from your house. So how are you going to do? So you run away with the jewelry. At least the jewelry will help you to start again something, to build a new house. But because if you lose your house because there is an earthquake or there is a typhoon or something like that, what are you going to do? And I think, traveling with Vietnam, and this country have seen so many difficult times that they value education and they value gemstone because, if you have a piece of jewelry, a nice piece of jewelry, and if you have education, you can start again somewhere else. Correct, Long?
Yes, you're correct. This is a country of Vietnamese people. For example, the parents have to take care of the children. After that, they have to take care of the grandchildren too. And Vietnamese people, they also want to have something in order to pass the next generation, and they have to something to give their children, their son, their daughter when they get married, and after that, from the generation to generation, they collect together. It's not the same as the overall country.
Yeah, so cool. It's so interesting when you find these different interests, in different trades, gem trades of the world. So I'm looking forward as soon as COVID is over. Vietnam is at the top of my list of places to go. It's not very far, and I got some friends over there I've been wanting to see and other things. So this talk has got me even more excited to think about, sooner or later, hopefully sooner, we can start to travel again and go see Vietnam in person. So
I hope to see you in Vietnam.
Yeah, that will be the right thing to do because this is probably one of the most beautiful gemstone producing area, and I know, Justin, you will love the culture there. The only thing you have to do is you have to buy a small book and try to learn about 20 or 30 words of Vietnamese because you will not find a lot of people speaking English there. So you will have to get into the Vietnamese language if you want to exchange a little bit because they are not very good in foreign language in Yen Te. So that's the main thing. But for the rest, the food is great, the stone are great, the landscape is great, and the people are very friendly. And there is a gem market. It's fun. It's fun. Yen Te is a gem. Yen Te is a gem. And Hanoi, I love Hanoi. Hanoi is a wonderful place. You have culture. You have it's a old town. It's a 1,000 years old town with a lot of interesting things about art. And Vietnamese people are very much interested in that.
Cool.
It's a unique place, very unique city. So I enjoy going there.
Yeah.
Long. So I hope that you will be able to come back into Vietnam. So we'll be able to see you there next time. We'll have a chance to visit your country. And
okay.
I want to thank you.
Do you have
to have taken the time
to visit Vietnam this time?
Yes, and it was great to be able to have this talk with you. It's not very often that that's the first time you are accepting something like that. So I know you prepare the thing quite a lot. But it was great. I think Justin agreed with me.
Nice to see you in Vietnam. When you have a plan to come back to Vietnam, I will return to Vietnam to welcome you.
Yes, it will be great.
You just have to get there first. You have to get there before us. That's your number one goal. get home before we get to your house.
Yeah. So we'll be able to go to have our regular dinner in order to speak about, get the news, and then maybe we can go somewhere.
Cool. Okay. Well,
So-
thank you, Long, and thank you to all of our guests who have been
You're welcome.
once again joining us on these worldwide adventures. As we cannot physically go anywhere, we virtually go everywhere. And yeah, if you guys want to follow Pham Van Long online, he's got the Facebook. He has a couple different websites. One of these is your company. What's the other one?
Another one is a laboratory.
Okay, so we can
Oh.
find you a few different ways on the web. And then, of course, I think everyone now knows that Vincent and I are on all of the social medias and that you can find us wherever you enjoy social media. Okay, Vincent, next week we're talking to Jean-Claude. So what's that going to be about? Do we have a topic, or we're going to go on the fly?
I think Jean-Claude has so many topics, but I think, Jean-Claude, it will be great to have Jean-Claude, because Jean-Claude is one of the persons that helped me the most, in my career since 2005, giving me a lot of advice, providing me a lot of contact. And he's a very interesting character, speaking a lot and not, all the time willing to share information. So he's a very interesting person. And he's a veteran of this industry. He has more than 30 years experience around the place. So I think that he will tell us a bit about his 30 years on the evolution of the gem industry during these 30 years.
Yeah.
So I think it will be an interesting talk.
And this will be good. This will be interesting.
Presentation.
This will be the first time that we've had a father after his daughter, because we had Zoe like in maybe the first
Yes.
the first Field Gemology talk. So
Yeah.
now we speak to the father and see the other side of the story or whatever. So that'll be fun. And I know he,
Yep.
as the editor of In Color, he just had a good, what I thought was a really great issue come out. So maybe he'll speak a little bit about doing the magazine and stuff like that too. That'll be fun.
Well, he's not just the editor; he created In Color. So
Yeah, but I mean, the figurehead or whatever.
Yes, yes,
But,
yes. So he was with In Color. He's editor-in-chief of In Color, and he was able to bring his this magazine to turn it into one of the essential magazine in the industry, because it's a trade magazine. It's not just purely gemological, but it's speaking about the trade.
Mhm.
And with In Color, you can follow a lot of the things that are happening in the color gemstone industry. And it's online, so it's easy to access. And Jean-Claude did a lot of work, incredible work, in order to produce all these issues of In Color every trimester, four times a year. The last one is very interesting, of course. I agree with you. And but I think that the next one also will be a fascinating one.
Yeah, I didn't.
So
realize
it will be fun. It will be very interesting to have Jean-Claude next week.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was his creation. So yeah, we'll have to get him to talk about that a little bit as well. But that'll be for next week's story. So
Yeah.
okay, well, thank you, Long. It was a pleasure to hear a bit about Vietnam and a bit about your story. And hopefully, yeah, we're going to see you in person soon.
Okay. See you all.
Okay,
Take
thank
good care
you.
of you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you,
enjoy.
Vincent. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Thanks everybody
And
to have
see
attended
all.
that talk.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Okay, and see
See
all
you.
of our
Bye-bye.
guests next week, same time, or maybe 1 hour later.